Ladies and gentlemen, quickly, I'd like to run into the final stage of this event, which is the celebrity panel. Please welcome with me a beautiful actress, radio and television presenter and producer. She's a mother and wife. I remember I used to think how she speaks with so much perfect diction. She recently celebrated her 30th year as a prolific actor. She starred in the very first Nigerian English home video titled The Glamour Girls, where she was the powerhouse of the movie, and has since then starred in over 300 Nigerian home videos, 6 international movies, one of which is called Half of a Yellow Sun. 26 stage performances after, numerous radio plays. She produced and presented Chatting with Gloria on Echo 89.75 FM, Pandora's Box on 102.3 Max FM, and Gloria's Lounge on 98.9 Kiss FM. And presently, she co-presents the Ladies' Lounge on the mainland radio 93.7 FM. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the seasoned actress, Mrs. Gloria Young. I'd like to, while she's coming up stage, I'd like to also welcome on stage her husband, who is a celebrated Nollywood actor known for his powerful performances on stage, television, and film. Born in 1959 in Warri, Delta State, and Urobo descent, you would notice when he starts talking that he's a complete Urobo man. He studied theater arts at the great University of Ibadan, which, by the way, is my alma mater, and the University of Benin. His career took off from standout roles in popular TV series like The Third Eye, Teen Cell, and Family Circle, earning major acclaim for his role as Professor Edem in the much publicized Checkmate. His film credits include King of Boys, Rattlesnakes, The Ahana Story, Gold Statute, and The Black Book. A method actor, he is admired for his depth, authenticity, and has plans to explore directing and producing. He is married to this beautiful, amazing woman, and together they have 3 daughters. Through decades of impactful storytelling, he remains a revered figure in Nollywood and a source of inspiration to many others. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome with me the very talented, the very legendary Mr. Norbert McDonald Akpojeraro Young. In the absence of Madam Ngozi Nwosu, Ngozi would have been here, would have been perfect for the kind of questions that we have because of her peculiar experience. But I would like to add somebody else to this platform. Can we welcome the convener, Pamela Udoka, on stage, please? Film the woman. Film her well. Cut the carrera. So without wasting too much of your time, you've all been here for a while. I would like to first of all thank all of you for your patience. I'd like to first of all thank all of you for your patience and for being here for so long. Thank you very much. We'd like to run through this as quickly as possible so that you can all go home. And let's take this one at a time. I'd like to start with Gloria, my sister. Please, I'd like to ask you, how do we find fulfillment in work, especially when our job isn't our passion? I found out that when people say that, oh, they wake up in the morning, like when I do 2 jobs and it affects me a lot. I'm a lawyer and I'm an actress. I'm a comedian, I'm an entertainer, I'm an MC.
That's not 2 jobs, so. That's like me.
So when I have an event like MC, I'm excited, okay?
Yes.
Yeah, I panic a bit, but I'm excited. Okay. When I'm going to act on set, I'm good. I'm good. In fact, on set, I remember on the set of the Johnsons, they used to say, I am the one actress that will read my script once and my lines. And even when I don't get the lines word for word, I can always improvise. You know, I'm always excited. But when I'm going to court, I'm nervous. I'm panicking. I'm checking my files. I'm checking my. I'm not me. I do it well because I don't want to fail. But that's not me. You know. So how do you find fulfillment in a job that is not your passion? When it is your passion, you are always excited to do it. You're always happy. Like you as an actress, you are excited. When they've given you a script, you are looking forward to that role. But how do you find fulfillment if you find yourself now, for example, having to work in a bank?
I'm sure I won't have lasted. I don't know whether any kind of motivation would have worked for me for working in a bank. But then again, there's some people who found themselves in such situations. I thought about it. I started jotting down some things, you know, because I don't know if I know my passion, definitely, but I don't know if my passion is the work I'm doing now or if there's any other one, because I think I like to call myself a challenged person, someone who's always challenged by different things. So the most important thing is, if you feel that you're not enjoying the job you're doing as passionately as you expect it to, you have to look for ways to find fulfillment in it. You have to look for ways to be motivated by it. If you know that, like you said, you're in the legal profession and at the same time you're an MC, but you enjoy that talking, the MCing work and all of that, then look for the kind of cases where you know you can face the judge and say, my Lord, I put it to you, and all of that. Look for ways to make it fulfilling, to motivate you, and all of that. That's one of the things I figured. So you focus on the positive aspects. What part of the job do you enjoy? I enjoy radio. I love just sitting in the fact, I remember there was a day, sorry to digress, but I'm not digressing. I remember there was a day I was going to radio, and I was in such a terrible traffic that I actually missed almost 1 hour of the radio time I had. Luckily, I had 2 hours. And I was supposed to be with others, but I was alone. I was so stressed out that I wasn't sure I could handle it. But immediately I sat in the radio environment, in the studio. Immediately I sat down. I just started feeling better. I just started getting calmer. And I realized that how I've been feeling all these years, that just gave it to me. That just told me that this is my passion. This is where I want to be. This is where I love being. I do not know if I've earned 1 naira from doing radio. But till tomorrow, I want to keep doing it. It's my passion. Will I leave other things for it? No. But that's my passion. Then again, acting is also my passion. I love to be on stage. I love to be, and all of that. And it helps. So I look for all the positive aspects of the different things I'm doing, you know, and I focus on them. I focus on those positive aspects. I find a way to contribute somehow, so that way I can say to myself, this is motivating me. This is the way I can do better. This is the way I can handle it. This is the way to make me get up in the morning and go out to do it. So that's, always look for the positive. Yeah.
Okay, that wasn't Uncle Norbert's question, but can I just have Uncle Norbert say something about this passion? You studied theater arts and you've been working as an actor all your life. Has there ever been a point where you wished that you had tried something else?
That would be a half-hearted yes. Because when I left university, I started working in an advertising agency. But while I was working in an advertising agency, I was also running to television and running to stage to do short movies and stage productions. So, but I find my true happiness in what I studied. I had an interview once with a reporter, and I said, if doctors practice medicine, lawyers practice law, then a theater artist should practice theater.
Yeah.
You know, so, and I've been with it. I don't, apart from the fact that I'm broke, I'm not rich. I have no regret.
Okay, now that takes me to the question I was going to ask you, and I would like to take Pamela's permission to digress a bit from the questions I have, because I'm moving with the mood and the tone of the event now. When we started theater, you started way before us, but when we started theater, that's our generation, it wasn't as productive as it is a bit now. And even now, for the OGs, for the people who are really doing the work of theater, there's really no money in it comparatively. You know, when I see people say that, oh, they have Range Rover, they have this, and it's all from this acting thing, I'm like, the same acting. I'll be another acting day, you know. So, when in those early days, acting could practically not pay the bills, what kept you going? Wasn't there any time when there was that thing that told you? Because now people would even pay to be in a movie because they can see, they want to be famous, they want to be, they can see the prospects. But in those days, there was no prospect. It was more about your passion, what you know you were called to do.
Yeah.
What kept you going?
Well, we end as low as 5 naira, sometimes 2 naira. And, you know, this thing, God made it a way that it comes with some goodwill. It comes with some benefits you don't see. It comes with people liking you, making offers to you. It opens doors for other things like being an MC, giving lectures here and there because people think that you know what you are doing when you act. So apart from the acting itself, I told you I had a job before I started full-time acting. And then you act, and you get into a production that takes you for nearly 4-5 years, like Checkmate did for us. So every month you were earning, you know, and every month you were working, and then you get called to do MC where you charge good money, and then you get to go to some occasions and you give a talk and they pay you. You know. And the truth is that when you act so many roles, you get to understand so many professions, not deeply, but at least to carry on a conversation. So there are many angles. You teach, you know, go to schools and they employ you to come and take them for certain, maybe 2-3 months. You know, there are many ways to make money as an actor. You know, but you may not be rich. And see, some people say they drive Range Rover. Don't be surprised that the Range Rover car company had called them to become ambassadors, to give them their cars. So I don't subscribe to saying that all of us are poor, or not all of us are poor. Some people are lucky to get such endorsements and such ambassadorship and the rest, you know. And like I said, the profession comes with goodwill. People, especially actresses, they have goodwill. They have people giving them so many things. So I don't subscribe to when people say that they do
other things.
If you know what I mean. So that's it. You see, but the basic truth is that even now I don't know how I survive. If you know what, it is God really that makes it possible. Because if you put down and do a calculation of what you earn and what you spend, you'll see that what you spend,
they don't balance.
They never balance. So where does the money come from? You know what I mean? But by no way will you call me a rich man. My wife knows.
You know, I would like to, there was a time we were outside the country for a program. Uncle Norbert and I traveled together quite a lot. And we at the immigration at the airport, somebody was rude to us, I think all these immigration people in another country, I can't remember whether it was Gambia. No, it was, I think it was Morocco. Maybe due to their rules, they said, somebody now said something. And Uncle Norbert was like, are you kidding me right now? Because I'm an actor? Do you realize if I was pursuing a career as a lecturer, I would be a professor? I would be your lecturer's lecturer by now, And that's one of the things that this job does for us. It gives us the opportunity to see way above what we do. So that takes me to Pamela. As a theater artist, I would have assumed that your first passion, because you were a good actress, I mean, you're still one, your passion would have naturally gravitated towards marrying your psychological background with your acting, like maybe writing scripts about all these things. But you have been able to do this and made an impact. What has been the marrying force for the two journeys of your career?
Interesting because I became a clinical psychologist because I was a theater artist. I was headhunted and employed as coordinator children's theater of the National Troupe of Nigeria. So every week, Monday to Friday, I come to work. Saturday, I was running children's theater workshops. But it got to a time, I started observing what we call abnormal behavior in the children. You will tell a child I've written, in fact, by the way, I've written three scripts. One of them is published, Rejected Blessing. You will tell a child when you're directing the play to sit, child is standing. Go, child is coming. You couldn't just understand. And some of them used to exhibit what we call social phobia. So I couldn't help them. I was just, running workshops, theater workshops. So my husband suggested I go into psychology to help these children. But me now, I went to Unilag. In the first year, because I didn't have a first degree in psychology, I had to do what is, they still call it occasional psychology. That's what the pre-MSc. So I did that for a year, did what we call developmental psychology, because I was working with children. So developmental psychology is basically development from conception to old age and death, So I was trying to know that. But my husband said again, I keep saying it, and I'll keep saying it, social media people, if you like drag me, I'm ready for now. Let's be factual when we say certain things and be honest about it, not have this phobia of what people are going to say, which destroys and drags people down and destroys families. If my husband did not say I should go and study psychology, because I wouldn't have done it. I'm a typical civil servant. After work, I'll go home. But when he said go out to help the children, just, so I went. But while I was in Unilag, I started hearing him about social media, Facebook specifically. And I started reading about domestic violence, spousal killing, spousal abuse. Because those who know me, I'm not saying this to impress anybody. I'm in a blissful marriage. My marriage is sweet me. So call it naivety or whatever. I didn't expect that people would quarrel to the extent that they want to kill themselves. Some even succeeding in killing themselves. Husband and wife, yes, you can have misunderstanding because, I have been in my family for at least 20 years. You have been in yours for another 20 years. So definitely there are things we will not understand about each other. But to the extent of beating, killing, I didn't understand it. So I now, thank you. So it won't be as if me, I'm doing, no. There's no way you will say you and Norbert is velvety smooth, marriage. No, you will have sometimes misunderstanding, but you will resolve it. So out of that curiosity, I now decided to go and study causes of marital conflicts. What make people they fight for inside marriage? When I went to UI, I didn't have a topic when I gained admission. So it was during the research discussion how to get that will now finally arrived at causes of marital conflict. My final topic, that's not for this podium. But the fact is that's what I went to research. Now, while doing my MSc, my MPhil now, after the MSc, and I found out that there are causes which include sexual dissatisfaction, third-party interference, communication pattern, and all that. And one of them is also social media, the telephone and social media. After discovering that, then I went to PhD to do intervention, because my supervisor then, Professor Shino, was saying, you have discovered the causes. What are you going to do about it? Intervention. Now you have to do assessment and do clinical assessment and therapy for the couples who have this conflict. I did not stop doing theater. I have been invited to Australia, in fact, Melbourne specifically, to lead a roundtable discussion about the intersection between mental health and the arts. So I'm still bestriding those two worlds. And you will know that most artists, performers, they have psychological issues. And because you have to put up a persona that people that people know about, you continue. Now, I cannot say I'm no longer a theater artist. I have traveled the world because of theater. And if I go to those theater places, most of them will say, Pamela, leading discussion on mental health. Pamela, what is the mental health dimension of this? So there is a relationship. I heard about some, I want to call it not therapy, research. Dr. Bonju, when we talk about beneficence in research, I'm trying to try to remember it now. When there was a syphilis research, where these researchers injected patients intentionally with syphilis injection, blacks by the way, to know what's happening. I read about that in psychology when we're talking about research. But I actually visited the spot where these things happened in Germany as a theater artist. The Secretary General of Architecture Nigeria is here, goes to Sochukwu Egbo. So when we talk about architecture, I saw those things because I was a theater artist. You understand? So I have not left totally, even though I am more in this space, because I feel there's a lot to do when it comes to clinical practice. And there are a few of us doing it. When I say few of us, I mean because there are millions of Nigerians. We need more licensed, not Google-trained people, not those who do 3 months course and give themselves highfalutin names. I'm talking about those who actually went through, Dr. Bonju is laughing, went through the training and can actually do the work. So I've not left theater, but
okay.
I am.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Can I just ask Gloria, okay, please, can you put your hands together for them? I'll just have one question for each person and then we can round up. I'd like to ask Gloria, burnout is everywhere. How can you or advise young professionals or students to manage the pressure to keep pushing without necessarily breaking down?
Oh, I wish there were so many young people here. I've been dealing with a lot of them, and I found out that they spend so much time on social media. They get confused with understanding the difference between social media and the real life. And luckily, I've had lots of interactions with them. So I always tell them, first thing I say is put down your phone. Drop the phone and get to smell what real life is like. Get to understand what real life is like. And another thing is to look for ways to interact socially with people. Instead of, you can sit down for 5-6 hours with that phone in your hand and not realize. And then you will be there laughing at this thing. And all of that. Like someone who's mad. 5-6 hours. Whereas if you drop that phone, if you drop the phone and try and have
Conversation.
time, you don't even 20, 30 minutes, you're ready to go.
Yeah.
You want to go. And a lot of us do it now, not just young people. A lot of us do that. We spend so much time that on social media. That is one of the reasons why we get a burnout. I'm not a psychologist or anything of the sort, but because of the kind of work we do, we're trained or we're taught to observe. I spend a lot of time observing. One of the places I observe a lot is in the airport. I get to the airport, immediately I walk in to the main lounge. As I'm walking in, I'm observing, I'm learning, I'm looking. And there was a day I walked into the the Okada end of the local airport here in Lagos. Immediately I walked in. You know how small and long that place is. Everybody was like, everybody. Usually it is a man toasting a woman, somebody reading the newspaper, somebody saying hello and all of that. They spend so much time on that. And I started wondering what's going on. Why is it like that? But that's one of the major things that creates the burnout. Anyway, back to the stuff about having a burnout and how to encourage young people to become more socially, to stay the course. Okay, that's the word. Become more socially active. Spend a lot more time with your friends and family. Prioritize family time. Relax, de-stress, because that alone gives you a lot of stress. When the fact that you have a burnout, that means there's something going on. And of course, naturally, you must seek support. It might not be your parents. You might not have the ability to speak to them and talk to them the way you want to. So look for other people. Look for a psychologist if you can't find one. Look for an auntie or an uncle, someone you can, be able to talk to. And most especially, take some time off for yourself. That's the most important thing.
You know that when we were growing up, Uncle Norbert, I don't know if you remember when Deeper Life first of all came, and they didn't used to have television in their house, and they said the black box was the demon's box. I told somebody, I said they actually saw the future. The black box, they said they should not watch TV, that it will distract them. But it was not the television, it's this phone. No. This phone is the black box that Deeper Life people were talking about that time. Because it's so distracting.
Very.
So distracting. I mean, I'm doing my master's right now in school, and even when I was doing my MBA, I would put the phone on silent. I will put it away from me. I'm trying to read. After 10, 15, 20 minutes, I go and get the phone again, pick it again. What am I looking for? What information am I in a hurry for? I'm the one that put it on silent, So I tell people that the same way we detox our body, we also need to detox our mind of social media. But, and so I celebrate and I envy people who are not into social media, like people like Uncle Norbert. If you go to his page, safe, or your husband, he's very active on Facebook. Yes, because he likes to talk politics and all those things. Uncle Norbert, but the question I have for you, Uncle Norbert, is what is the impact of toxic relationships like family, friends, or romantic relationships on mental health, and how can we detach from it, especially when it's beginning to affect us mentally?
I will take a general look first. I'll give you a story I read about something in America. A school boss was taking children home after school. And one young boy was able to save the situation because they were going to get into an accident. The young boy noticed that the driver had seizure. So he ran to the driver, pushed him aside, and tried to control the steering until he was able to stop the bus. And the boy who happened to be the only person in the bus that was not looking at his phone. Every other child was looking at their phone, so they were not aware of their environment. That's what I'm saying. Because he didn't have a phone. His father did not buy him a phone. Yes. So he was the one that saved the situation, the entire bus, because he was aware. And that's what I tell my kids. You must be aware. When we are in the car, put down your phone, be looking at what is going on, so that if I am making a mistake, you can tell me. I'm not the only one driving the car. We are all driving the car. Okay? Yeah. So you see, somebody said it earlier on today about what the internet is doing to us. What the internet is doing to us. Now, everything in this life has the good side and the bad side. For us that didn't grow up with these toys, it is easy for us to let them go sometimes, because we didn't grow up with them. But the children of nowadays grew up with them. And we must not allow these things to be, say we are running a democracy, then we should not regulate the use of these things. The destruction among the youth is too much. The number of hours we spend with them is not at the same number of hours they spend with their virtual friends. And those ones have strong influence. Somebody was saying the other, it was you who said, "Mommy." No, apart from the chat GPT, some children will tell you that this one, an 18-year-old child will be talking like she knows everything in the world. The truth is that an 18-year-old girl knows nothing. An 18-year-old child knows nothing, really, if you really look at it. So the influence they are getting from this phone is more toxic than it's positive. You understand? And it goes far to affect our interpersonal relationships, whether we like it or not. And we don't bond so much again. Children will be at home from morning, instead of doing chores, they will run to phone until you shout before they will go and do chores. And then you will now find that after chores, they are holding the phone. They don't gist with you. They don't interact. They don't tell you things. Rather, they discuss with strangers. All these things are toxic. We have to say the truth. And you find out that as time goes on, you may not even know your children anymore. And they won't even know you. They're not interested. The phone is more addictive, more interesting to them. But we'll keep trying. We'll keep trying. I hope I'm not deviated from your question. No. We'll keep trying to make the best we can. But if you ask me, there must be regulation. We must regulate the use of this thing. It's going to destroy this world. I'm telling you. Apart from the half-truths, fake news that people deliberately manufacture, about the accusations here and there, so many bad things happening, Sometimes I just wonder the kind of people, especially our young ones, are becoming, honestly.
That. Yeah.
Let me just add a little to that. When we were growing up, our age mates, not the younger ones here, when we were growing up, like you said, we didn't have social media. We didn't have all of that. So we were regulated. From 4 p.m., that's when the television comes on. And when it comes on with Sesame Street and all of that. Yes. So our parents knew what we were doing in front of the TV set. And even when we were outside, even when we were playing, our parents knew what we were doing.
And who our friends
were. Who the neighbors are. Everybody knew, because it was like a community living. Yeah. In fact, if you fail by the time you enter the street,
the entire street knows.
And before you get home, they don't woes you, beat you shaggy. That's if you fail and if you misbehave.
Yes.
So there was community living. And so what the focus was on training the child holistically.
Yes.
You understand? Why I'm able to remember this is when my daughter was a little girl, from the minute she was 2, she would always want to run outside. She would always want to play. She wants to. And I would be, close the door, close the door, close the gate, close this, close that, close. Norbert said, leave her alone. And we were living at the end of a close. So naturally, how can you open my gate? Norbert said, allow her. So she, from the minute she could open the gate herself, she would do that. And she was in the environment where she could play, and all the other children now started coming out. And it made her a stronger person. Because she could come tell me, actually before she was 7, somebody had actually tried to call her. One of those builder boys and the rest. And she came to tell me, Mommy, somebody is calling me there. I don't know what that man wants. So he was doing his trouser like this. Oh, the street I went ballistic. So you started training the child. Now, when you spend so much time, your parents don't know what you're doing, even if you say you can monitor what they watch and what they see. But your parents don't know what you're doing. They don't know all the things in the apps that you're looking at. They really don't know the conversations you're having on WhatsApp and the rest. You can get more confused. So I remember when Norbert said 18-year-old doesn't know. An 18-year-old, even if you have all the phones and the apps, you don't know. You cannot recognize the things that you should recognize to make you safe and secure. You can't. But when you are able to interact with people holistically, you can sense the danger because you've been in those kind of environments. But when you spend all the time here on the phone, when it's time for you to come out to the main place, you don't feel secure. You don't feel. So it's a very important thing for these younger ones to understand now. The environment is truly, really more toxic than when we were growing up. We had a more holistic, innocent, but very holistic environment compared to now. And we should look for a way to find a balance.
Thank you very much. When Uncle Norbert was talking about kids wanting to be on social media, it reminded me of a trip we had. My brother had taken all of us on a trip in South Africa. My dad, my mom, his wife, the children. And then we went to this beautiful resort. And the kids were so excited when we got there. Oh, wow, beautiful resort. This is so beautiful. Thank you, Daddy. And then we checked into the hotel room. We checked into their apartment. It was a duplex. It was a building. And the first one ran out. And he came and said, Dad, there's a problem. And my brother said, what's the problem? He said, there's no internet on my phone. My brother said, yeah, I know there's no Wi-Fi. He said, but why? He said, there's no Wi-Fi here between morning and 6 p.m. He said, but why? He said, because it's a family gathering. We are here to interact. We are here to enjoy our company with one another. That's why. So if you need Wi-Fi before 6 p.m., you have to walk all the way to the restaurant, and then you sit down, and then you use the Wi-Fi. If not, then you stay here until 6 p.m., and they put on the Wi-Fi only between 6 and 8 p.m. Dad! Why are we here? Why are you punishing us like this? This is not fair. This doesn't make no sense. Then the brother came and said, Dad, there's a problem. My phone is blind. So they asked my brother and they said, so what should we be doing between morning and 6 p.m.? My brother said, go and talk to grandpa, talk to grandma, talk to Auntie Pose, talk to your mom. That's why we are here. It's a family gathering. Have communication, watch TV. Read a book. They both looked at us like, The first 2 days it was torture. But honestly, by the 4th, 5th day, we knew more about each other. They would just come and sit down with us. There's nothing else to do. Like, Auntie Paul said, what was it like when Daddy was young? They just had to have these conversations, and I think that it's very important. But Auntie Pamela, I would like to round up with you. And I would like to say, in a world where social media defines for you what success is, you are not failing in life. You are not a failure. But when you open social media, you see what your classmates who look like they are more successful are enjoying. How do you protect your mental health in that space and don't allow it to drown you?
Thank you very much. I like the way you said, look like. That is the key. That look like. Social media is make believe. I tell my children, remember that Ojota dump site? I use that as an analogy for my children. I say, social media is like a dump site. It has gold, it has things that are valuable to other people that they've thrown away. So go to the social media and pick the valuable things and leave the trash. If you know that what you are watching is giving you stress or is making you feel uncomfortable, to simplify it, then ask yourself, is this good for me? How do I feel after watching this? Of what benefits is it to me in all areas of wellness? Is it benefit to my mental health? Is it benefit to my psychological health? Is it benefit to my spiritual health? Is it benefit to my emotional well-being? Is it even to my financial wealth? We have talked about, is it CBEX or whatever. So this thing that we are doing, and then you see that people can borrow. We have heard things. People can borrow to make themselves look good on social media. But that is not, yeah. So when you have that at the back of your mind, you have to develop resilience. That thing will not affect me. You have to be resilient. That whatever they are doing, I cannot let it define who I am. And you must also know that you shouldn't envy anybody. If you don't take anything away from what I'm saying now, take this away. Don't envy anybody, because behind that camera, you don't know the person's reality. It's what you know about yourself that you know. And the mental health that you want to protect is not written on anybody's forehead. It's not like you have high fever and they'll touch you and say, okay, your temperature is high. I keep referring to Dr. Bonju because, she's a very seasoned psychiatrist. There's somebody that will come with symptoms of depression and you say, okay, your temperature is 150 degrees of, no. It's the symptoms that you look at. So to enable you not to manifest certain symptoms, you must protect what you watch and how you internalize what you are watching. I remember during NSAS, we're doing this psychological first aid. We tell people just detox, like you said, go off social media, because it's what you see. Anytime you go on social media, you'll be hearing things, you'll be saying things. Go off, and then learn to talk to human beings. Leave your phone. Leave your phone. You see, you have to be intentional about certain behaviors. If you have put your phone on silent, tell yourself the phone is on silent for a reason. If you have put it away, if you have turned it off, you turned it off for a reason. Because you have to consciously tell yourself things. Not talking to self, like we say it's a symptom of another mental illness. Tell yourself, we call it grounding. You want to ground yourself. You want to practice mindfulness. Tell yourself things by yourself. I will not let this affect me. I will not let what this person is going through affect me. Because if you don't tell yourself that consciously, you will be carried away. And then you will now find yourself in where you shouldn't be, in a psychiatric facility.
Thank you very much. On a final note, Mrs. Young, I would ask you a question. and I'll ask your husband the same question, and I'll round up with that. In the world, as a married couple in the same industry, you have found yourself on sets together at one point or the other. When you find yourself on set at one point or the other, how has that impacted that particular project that you have worked, being together in the same space? Does it affect your productivity in any way? Because I know theater is crazy. You may not like the way the director is talking to you. You may not like something, and he's there, and he's like, do those things have any effect on your relationship?
On our relationship
and your work?
Fear no will agree them now. That craze. Well, in a good way, yes.
Yes.
It has impacted on the production, of course. Having Mr. and Mrs. Young on set together. Now your money now.
Yeah,
but then again, yes, we're coming with our A game. Mm-hmm. We're coming with our professionalism. We're coming with the fact that we understand each other. Mm-hmm. We understand our nuances. All I need to do to know when Norbert is in a particular mood is to look at his face, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And then when I go off on my tangents, like I usually do, because I'm a very expressive.
You don't
woman.
take nonsense.
Let me put it like that. I'm a very expressive woman, and so if and when I do get to go off, the only controlling person there is Norbert.
Yeah.
All he needs to do is say, you don't do or something. You understand? Then I know that, okay, I've gone off a little too much. Most times he doesn't stop me. Oh, he doesn't.
Yeah, because he knows you are not. Yeah.
I've gone ballistic on set once. In fact, it was stage, and my husband did not make him. Basically, because he knows I can take and then when I scatter, it's good for them.
It was needed.
Yes, they needed to see her in action, and that has even made me stronger. Mm-hmm. That has made me stronger because my backbone did not stop me. So he knows what I'm going through, and he supports me.
Yeah.
So it has worked better for them, for the production, when he and I are together. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So Uncle Norbert, please put your hands together for them on that one. So finally, Uncle Norbert, if you had a choice to, as you have married her now, she now decided that this entertainment too, I don't want to do again. I want to go and become a lecturer or something. How would that affect you?
I don't think it's going to affect me much. It's not going to affect me really. I started the job before I met her. I've been doing the job, and it's the job I intend to do till I die. And I've not been on the same set with her more than 4 times, so it's not really. I'm not going to meet.
So
her.
Has the art been kind of a binding force in your relationship, or it wouldn't have mattered anyway if you were not in the same profession?
It wouldn't have mattered, but every opportunity is a binding chance. Like even today, even now. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been beautiful being the moderator for this wonderful couple, and of course our convener, who, by the way, the side chick of her husband noticed that she was on the panel and she went to go and sit by her husband. This is the only side chick that has mind to sit beside the husband. I'm telling you, that's the fried rice of the chicken. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank Dr. Udoka, Mr. Norbert Young, and Mrs. Gloria. I like to call the full name Gloria Ngozi Young. That's how the correct one. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Equacious Bosse, and it's been such a beautiful, beautiful afternoon. Thank you.